Welcome to episode 1 of the TheCardNinja podcast, a podcast we're calling the Every Mages podcast because the podcast has something for everyone with a focus on casual play environments. I'm your host, TheCardNinja, and this is my co-host for the evening, Tarielen. This podcast has something for everybody from Johnny, Timmy, and Spike. Got lots of great segments planned, from Commander's Authority, a segment focused on Commander, to Mages Contest, the latest meta discussions from the professional play circuit, or contemplating the impact of new card releases upon the pro circuit. So jumping right in, episode 1's focus is going to be on conspiracy. What is conspiracy and why is it awesome?
Because it's completely focused on draft, and it's got a lot of new mechanics that introduce and completely changes the way we play the game, which I think is its main, bonus.
Right. Okay. Like she said, conspiracy is completely focused on being drafted. It has draft matters cards, which we'll get into. And it has lots of brand new mechanics that are a lot of fun, and it's built for casual, not for competitive play. So what it is it's a 215, I think, card set, and it has 3 new mechanics that are entirely focused for multiplayer. The first of which is Will of the Council.
Yeah.
And we played our game, and that was a lot of fun.
Yes.
It has, the way it works is, starting with you vote for one thing or another thing, and then each person votes for another thing, and then stuff happens depending on what got the most votes. So, and then there's 2 cards that go with that whole mechanic in the set. It's generally a black-white mechanic. There's a Brago's Representative, is a white creature that has, whenever you vote, you get an extra vote. There's also a black creature, I can't remember its name, it's not relevant, that has, whenever you vote, anybody who votes against you loses 2 life. So that's kind of neat support for that.
One thing to point out is that a lot of these Will of the Councils are, the effect will happen even if it ties.
Right.
Which is huge changer in its value. Because if you do plan to play this with 2 people or whatever, you pretty much get whatever you want from it.
Yeah. In head-to-head or 60-card Magic, these cards are going to have an impact in that you always get to decide the outcome, because you always get what you want out of it. So as long as whatever you want when you're playing the card in your deck is the tie option, and sometimes the other option, if it's mostly the tie option, you'll get it every time. And
for group play, it brings in actually trying to convince the other players to play with you against another opponent. So you can see these barriers just draw within the group. If there's a big threat on the board, you can have these little guys that are losing right now gang up with each other.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely, yeah. Some of them, and in a lot of cases, you'll end up with a different thing picked for everything, and you're going to have a whole lot of fun with your cards.
Yeah.
The next mechanic is called Dethrone, and the way Dethrone works is, whenever a creature attacks, if it's attacking the player with the highest life total, it gets a +1/+1 counter on it. So, things like Marchesa has that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has Dethrone, and it's important to note that it's whenever this creature attacks the player with the most life, not the opponent. So, personally, I find that to be a drawback. It makes it so that if you're starting to get ahead, your creatures are all going to get weaker because they're going to stop getting their bonus because you're now the person with the highest life. So it does, if you're going to build a constructed deck around Dethrone, I think you should build in some suicide aspect. So that you're losing your life, or at least you're using your life to some benefit.
Very, it just works well with black. That has a lot of the deal damage to myself.
Absolutely.
Get my life total low so that my opponents are always higher.
Yep, lose life to draw cards, that kind of thing.
And it negates a lot of the life gain effects from that other player decks might gain.
Yeah, it absolutely. If someone starts getting ahead of you, especially Grenzo's Renegade, I believe it's called, is a 2-mana 1/1 with Dethrone. And life gain is generally how you combat these aggressive creatures. Well, if they have Dethrone, they can gain all the life they want. They're just going to keep getting hit for larger and larger chunks, and then they're dealing with a 2-mana 7/7 or whatever.
Yeah, and then they have to hope for an instant or sorcery to take care of it. Enchantment to lock it down. It really lowers their chances of survival in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to find removal in some sort. And the last new mechanic is called Parlay. It appears on Selvala, and she is the spearhead for this, much like Marchesa is the spearhead legendary. Selvala is the spearhead legendary for the Parlay mechanic, and personally, I don't like it. The reason for that is, when I want cards, I want the cards for me. And the way Parlay works is, whenever you use a Parlay card, each player reveals the top card of the library, and for each non-land revealed, the effect happens, whatever the effect may be. So in Selvala's case, you gain a green mana to your mana pool and gain 1 life for each one. And then everybody draws a card. No matter what they revealed, everyone draws a card. So the reason I don't like it is that they get to draw cards. I think the reason it was put in this conspiracy draft format is to keep everybody's hands full, keep the cool stuff happening, keep the game flowing. But from a construction standpoint, not really for me.
Well, it definitely is for multiplayer. I mean, it has a much bigger effect. It's so much more interesting with more players that there are.
Absolutely,
you know?
That's true.
It's really geared towards the multiplayer draft that conspiracy is there to serve. So you're, like you said, in constructed, it doesn't do that much, honestly. If we're looking at 60 card 1v1, you get a card or a mana and a life.
Yeah. Rather
than the 4 cards or 4 mana and 4 life.
Yeah, it's a very flip a coin type effect. But in 60 card, the downside is the same. No hits. You get nothing. But the upside is much lower because you only have 2 options compared to the 4. Or if people are crazy in a commander game, like 12.
Well, and it just has a much less effect. Period. Yeah, for the mana you're spending.
So that's the third new mechanic. It's not really for me, but it definitely does its job. And there are some sweet parlay cards in conspiracy for the draft side of things.
As a green-white player, I love this card. Yeah. I mean, it fits perfectly with the themes that I like to play with: ramp and life gain.
Giving your opponent's cards isn't a problem for you?
Not really.
Just gonna beat him down anyway?
No, I'm a Timmy.
Right. That's fair.
I'll beat him down with all my big creatures that I spent with all that mana I just got.
Fair enough. All right. So the other 2 new things about conspiracy from never before is draft matters cards, and there's 2 of them. There's conspiracy card type, which is brand new, and it isn't so much a draft matters card, but it only works when you're drafting. So the way the conspiracies work is you draft them as though they're a pick. So you get your pack, you have a conspiracy, or the other new card type that I'm dubbing Cogwork Construct, because most of them are constructs, and several of them have Cogwork in their name.
Yes.
But, so you get one of those in every pack. It's either going to be a conspiracy, a Cogwork Construct, and then 14 other cards from the set. So you'd pick a conspiracy the same way you pick anything else, but they all use the command zone, which has mostly been unused until now.
Very unused, only for Commander. I've never seen anything else.
Something else hangs out there. I can't remember what it is, but there is something else. Emblems also use the command zone.
I guess technically they do. You never really think about it.
Yeah,
but
that's where they hang out. So yeah, the conspiracies, they start play in the command zone. They don't take a place in your 40-card deck, so they're not a blank if you hit them. And there's 2 types. There's the regular conspiracies and the hidden agendas. So the hidden agendas, much like Muzio's preparations, which says you can reveal it at any time. I think it's about the same speed as Morph, which is the fastest effect in the game.
Like a split-second effect?
No, split-second actually has an effect on gameplay, and that just says nothing go on the stack above it. Morph effects and conspiracies, hidden agenda reveals don't use the stack at all.
Oh, okay.
They're just they just
instant
happen.
Effects
yes,
that
nothing can. There's no responding to it. It just happens.
Okay.
Now,
makes sense.
In the case of morphs, for example, you respond to that because when they morph, a trigger happens and that goes on the stack.
Yeah.
But the morphing itself can't be responded to.
Right. You can't stop somebody from morphing their creature.
So Muzio's preparations, what that says is you secretly name a card before the game is started. Not when you draft it, but before you start the game, you secretly name a card. And you can reveal that at any time. And when you do that, the chosen card gets a benefit. In the case of Muzio's preparations, the creature gets a +1/+1 counter. There's immediate action, which gives it haste, and various other. And the other type of new card is Cogwork Constructs.
Yeah.
So what these do is they all are drafted or revealed when you draft them. I think every single one of them. And then they have an effect within the drafting portion of the game. So Lore Keeper, when you draft it, you immediately reveal it, and then you add another pack to the draft.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. It not only does it just spices up the gameplay, you get another pack to pull from. It increases your chances of getting something awesome.
Absolutely.
The downside is you do have to make sure you have enough packs for it.
Yeah, that's true.
If you just get specifically 24 or people are pitching in maybe to buy packs or bring in their own packs, you need to make sure you have extras in case you draw this card.
Absolutely. We pulled from our conspiracy box, though it's even encouraged that you have a selection of packs that are from completely different sets just to make things crazy.
Right.
So
spice it up.
I kind of wish we'd done that.
Add some cold snap in there.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the cold snap.
Yeah, or Homelands.
Homelands, yes.
Yeah, terrible sets. Don't do that. Use fun ones like Future Sight and things like that.
Future Sight's a good one. Lots of stuff in there.
I made the mistake of picking it pack one, pick one, because I didn't really think about how that worked, that no matter who opened it and who picked it, I was going to get a pick from that pack. So I got all gung ho and picked that and passed up a really sweet bomb rare. But that's
while it's a cool card, I don't think I would pick that first thing. While it's still fun, everybody gets to still pull from that pack. So pack will eventually get to you for your extra pull. But if there's something much better for the draft itself, gotta pass it up. It's not worthy of missing a draw.
Well, luckily for me, I immediately opened a new pack and got Spirit Monger, which I played in my deck. So
that would be the bonus, is getting the awesome rare from the new pack.
Absolutely. So it has a lot of cool effects. Ones like that, ones that let you look at other players' packs if you want to, ones that let you spy on the next pick that's coming up. Various ones. We'll talk about those a little bit when we start talking about Cube. But those are all the new things in Conspiracy.
A lot of new mechanics introduced, and most of it is geared towards what we are geared towards, which is casual play, which is rare to see.
Yeah.
I like seeing it.
I was very excited seeing this set come up, and that's why this episode 1 of our podcast is focused on Conspiracy, even though we're a little late getting it up. I wanted to make sure that we got to talk about Conspiracy.
Yeah.
So most of our podcasts are going to start with an overview like that and then move into Crack-A-Pack. I know that Limited Resources and Loading Ready Run on their Tap Tap Concede podcast do Crack-A-Pack, and it's a lot of fun. I know I like it as a viewer, so we're going to do it as well, but our version is a little bit different.
Well, and don't forget, it also gives us an excuse to buy more Magic cards.
Absolutely. So the way we're doing it is generally both of the other people, anybody else who does it, they're always looking at it from a drafting standpoint, just a drafting standpoint. Pick one, pack one, what's the draft? We have a focus on casual, and we're big-time Commander players. I play a little Pauper as well, and I know that there's several casual formats, as well as we do want to look at the constructed formats,
yes,
the competitive constructed formats, because we're the Every Mages podcast. We look at everything. So we're going to crack our packs, and we're going to look at each card and talk about, if it's not good for draft, what is it good for, or is it just throwing stars to the garbage bin? So we have a Conspiracy pack here that we're going to crack. I got a little overzealous after our draft and opened the rest of my box of Conspiracy, so I had to go and purchase a specific pack just for the Crack-A-Pack. But
I think you just wanted an excuse to buy more Magic cards.
That may be. I maybe just wanted to buy another pack of Conspiracy. So let's go ahead and crack this open and see what we got. All right.
Starting at the front of the back. I always look at the rare first.
No, we'll start.
I look at what matters, you know.
We'll make our way to the back. It's more.
Save the best for last.
That's right, absolutely. Right. So we got, first off, we have Apex Hawks. It is a 2/2 flyer for 2 white, or 2 colorless and a white. It has multi-kicker of 1 and a white, so you can play that over and over again. And it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each time it was kicked.
It's not too bad.
I can't say I remember them going around, but I drafted mono blue when we played Conspiracy, and it was terrible. Don't do it. It's a trap.
I went with my usual white-green strategy. Worked pretty well.
So what do you think about Apex Hawks? Would you play it?
Probably, because it can be good early and late game.
Yeah, it's not bad. A 2/2 flyer is nothing, for 3 is nothing to laugh at.
The multi-kicker is just, it's a great, it makes the card that would be good early great in late game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sink your mana into it.
A 2/2
Make
for
it
3 is
amazing.
fine, and a 3/3 for 5 is all flyer is also fine. And if you get way late game and you've got 9 mana, just dump it all and have a great big huge bomb flyer. You know.
No, it's great for white too.
I wouldn't first pick it, but I
No.
wouldn't let it go too long before I did
probably
pick it up.
not.
Probably if I were in those colors.
Yeah, definitely if I was in those colors, it'd probably be mid pick that I'd be looking at it for draft.
Right. So our second card is Marchesa's Emissary. She's, or he, I guess, is a 2/2 hexproof with Dethrone for 3 and a blue. So,
Personally,
what
I'm
do
a
you think about that?
huge fan of hexproof. Like, it is a powerful mechanic.
I do love me some hexproof.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I like it as much in blue itself. Usually I want it combating blue. So,
It's good in blue. The big thing to note about cards like this one is it's a 2/2 for 4, but generally it's going to be a 3/3. Like it's going to be a 3/3 hexproof
yes,
the first time it ever attacks.
With its Dethrone ability,
More if you pump it.
It does make it a threat, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, for the common, I think it's a little... Well, with the hexproof, I guess the cost isn't too bad on it. 4 mana for a 2/2 hexproof, Hexproof is just an amazing ability. And
yeah, the hexproof
there's
really, I think, carries this
such
card.
few things that can deal with it, You throw an enchantment on that gives it any kind of unblockability, it's unstoppable,
Absolutely, yeah. I think that the hexproof is what carries this card to being playable. I wouldn't pay 2 for 4 mana 2/2 pretty much ever if I could help it.
Even with if it was just the Dethrone with a 2/2, I probably wouldn't pay 4 for it.
Right, but looking at this thing, so assuming it's going to be a 3/3 hexproof the first time it attacks and grow from there, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, it can become a deadly weapon for a common.
Yeah.
Especially.
So next we have Fishburne Devils. It was printed originally in Innistrad, I believe, but don't quote me on that. But it is a 3/3 for 4 and a red, and when it dies, it lightning bolts something. 3 damage to our creature or player. Not great. I would not pick this card very highly and play it, but I'm probably wrong as far as draft goes. It's a little
for the
overcosted
color.
for what its power toughness is, but it does lightning bolt something when it dies. So
Yeah, I mean, you get double the worth. I mean, if they kill it, they take 3 damage. If they don't kill it, they're taking 3 damage.
yeah, I mean it kills a 6/6.
So,
it can block 6/6. So there's that.
it is creature or player.
It's creature
Yes.
player. It is lightning bolt.
So yeah, that's even better. So
not super wonderful, but
it is kind of spendy for draft, I think. Where a lot of times you're forced to go multicolor.
yeah.
So
And it's a draft card. Don't play. It's not constructed playable unless you're playing some kind of weird graveyard combo. Don't play it.
I can't see playing it in a different format.
So next we have Skitter of Lizards. It is a 1/1 for 1 red with haste. It has multi-kicker of 1 and a red, and it gets a +1/+1 counter for each time it was kicked. So this is another one that, much like the Apex Hawks from earlier, this is the red one. Instead of flying, it has haste. And just like the Apex Hawks, it's only going to be played in draft. It's not good for constructed. It begs too much of a mana commitment to be good in constructed, and a 1/1 haste for 1 is not good. So,
Well, I mean, it's cheapness. So it does give it that for draft, especially. Again, the thing about the multi-kicker is it makes it much better later game, So depending on how many colors you're playing.
Right. Well, to me, it's its lack of a relevant creature type. Like, if this was a 1/1 haste goblin like this, this would be
different
seeing
story.
constructed play in Legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Like that,
With
hands down.
goblin
Just
deck,
because it's a cheap, fast goblin.
possibly see
that can
it
grow.
in changelings. I've seen a couple changeling decks that can...
If it were a
does
changeling,
damage,
maybe, but being a lizard, it's not good enough.
Right.
But so yeah, it's okay in draft. It has no evasion, but it does have the haste. But don't pick it highly. It's not that good. Next we have Mana Geyser, another one of the big ritual type cards, if you will. It's a sorcery for 3 colorless and 2 red, and you add a red to your mana pool for each tapped land your opponents control. So this card is generally considered a trap.
Yeah.
Because in all formats that aren't Conspiracy, you're paying 5 and you're generally getting less
Yeah.
or the same. But Conspiracy is a multiplayer format.
Oh, that's true. So more players, the
Yeah.
higher the mana you get.
Yeah, everybody taps out, and you can drop your big nasty red bomb with this thing, or probably a couple, really.
Yeah.
I don't know of any X spells. I didn't see any. Yeah, I wish I had.
I don't think I would see this in constructed play much, though. I mean, to be honest.
No, it doesn't see
it's too
constructed
expensive.
play. It likes to see constructed play in new players' decks. I do see it there, but
Really?
any experienced player would rather run Seething Song. It's 3 mana for 5, and you know what you're getting rather than the variable is what makes it not good.
Well, and
Consistency
again,
is a good
like
thing.
you said, this is very much geared towards multiplayer.
Absolutely.
So there's no way that this would bring you enough in 1v1
Right.
for the 5 mana that you're putting into it. You know.
Right.
So.
Okay. So next we have a reprint in Typhoid Rats. They're a 1/1 Death Touch for 1 black, and much like Sedge Scorpion, they are really good at holding down the fort. A 1/1 Death Touch, if you don't have evasion, you're just going to be trading a 2/2 or a 2/3 or a 3/3 or a 4/4 into it. Doesn't matter how big it is, a 1/1 Death Touch will block it all day long.
And until they take care of it, you're just poking them for 1 every time.
No, you could. Most people just leave it back on D.
That's true.
They attack in with their 2/3 and 3/3 and
the fact that
offer trades, but they
1 mana, you drop
trade
it
with
first turn, before they get anything out, you're already poking them.
Yep. In the black-green deck, this can play with some of the fights cards. I believe there's some fight cards in
I
this.
can see that being played in some rat decks, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. 1/1 Death Touch for 1 is not bad. And in Constructed, I know one of the players in our play group plays a rat deck. I don't know if he's running this particular card, but
I'm not sure.
I can see it making the cut. Not bad if you're in black. Don't pick it highly. I wouldn't pick it first pick or anything.
No.
Most of your first picks should probably be rares or uncommons.
Yeah.
That's it. And especially in this particular set, it's a good rule of thumb. So next we have Plummet. Like this is not a good card. Plummet. It's a instant for a green and a colorless. It's good sideboard tech, but this isn't your average draft. You generally draft, you make your deck, you play 1 game. Now granted, green has trouble with flyers generally, so main decking 1 of these might not be a bad idea. It'll probably hit something throughout your games because it is multiplayer.
Green has reach, though, to deal with flyers, and
I don't like using my deck slots to take care of maybe answers.
Right.
If I'm going to use a deck slot for an answer, I want it to be kill it dead. I want it to be a Doomblade or a Go for the
It'd be much
Thrower.
better to have a reach creature that can attack rather than a one-shot, maybe there's a flyer in their deck.
If you're going to play flying protection, play a reach creature. I agree.
Well, and with draft, again, they're usually doing multicolors, so if they go green-blue, white-blue, or white-green, or any kind of combination, they'll probably have their own flyers to manage with theirs. So.
Right. So next we have Infectious Horror. Originally printed in Ravnica block. I believe it's Ravnica block. Either way. It's a 2/2 for 3 colorless and a black, and whenever it attacks, not deals damage, attacks, each opponent loses 2 life. So this thing kicked our butt in our game. Whew. You weren't in our first game, right?
No, I was not.
You were in the other game, okay.
And I don't know if you mentioned this before. Our draft was 8 people, like normal. Right. And we broke into 2 groups of 4 players rather than doing a 1v1 tournament because Conspiracy is geared for multiplayer.
Yeah, don't.
So do not do a 1v1 tournament. It will not be fun.
Yeah, if you're going to do Conspiracy, don't break it up and do pairings like normal. Split yourself into 2 groups, or if you're absolutely insane, do 1 giant 8-man, because that's always going to be fun. But
that would take hours.
Yeah, it would take a long time, but it'd be fun.
Yes, it would be, because a lot of the multiplayer cards, like this one, have a huge effect if there was 8 players instead of 4,
Absolutely.
And especially if you have anything that happens when other opponents lose life or take damage or anything.
Well, this guy is just an all-star because in Conspiracy, because he's in the colors for reanimation for 1. So even if you attack with him and he dies, you can reanimate him and attack with him again. And you've done, that's if it's a 4-person, you've already done 12 damage, not even including his attacks. Just 12 damage to people who aren't you.
And then
that's 2 life per opponent.
I know of a Conspiracy that does give haste.
Absolutely. So immediate action gives him haste, and you can pump him, make him bigger if you get a bunch of these guys. This guy is a sweet one for the the hidden agendas. If you can start picking up a bunch of them, I suggest doing it. And he kicked my butt pretty hardcore, I can tell you that. He's not great. Don't take him first. But, if you get him out with some pants or hidden agenda, he can do some work.
Yes.
You can't ignore him.
It does definitely make the gameplay interesting. Though I can see this also bringing a lot of hate from players. Just because they'll see you deal so much damage all at once every turn.
Yeah.
And if they know that if they don't all of a sudden start targeting you to at least take care of that, if not take you out of the game. So it can be kind of a risky move to drop it and play it. Just from the social aspect of everybody wanting to beat you down now.
Absolutely. Yeah, he luckily he was able to just keep attacking me because I was off to a slow start, and the others were watching him, but they weren't taking the full run. I was taking 4 every time it swung.
Right. Because you were taking his damage on top of the
constructed applications. It is a zombie, but it's not costed well enough or aggressive enough for most constructed decks. Now, zombie commander might want him, but general, you want there's better stuff, so he kind of takes a back burner.
But I mean, if you look at it though, even in 1v1, this card has worth, right? It deals the 2 life, whether it's blocked or not. It's automatic damage that happens when it attacks, not when it deals damage to a player or a creature. So it has a lot of worth in that. So
even when you talk about legacy zombies, he's on I'd say he's on the cusp. He's just not costed right. If he would cost 1 less or was a 3/3 for 4, that the ability is great, but it's just not enough to cover how vulnerable he is. Without being able to protect him.
Right.
So next we have Stasis Cell, which is it's an aura enchantment. It costs 4 colorless, 1 blue. An enchanted creature doesn't untap during its control's untap step, and you can play 3 colorless and a blue to attach it to target creatures. So you can move it around. It's pseudo removal, kind of locks down the opponent. The other person in the draft who was drafting blue was apparently drafting these because I didn't get any of them.
You didn't get any.
No,
I don't remember seeing this card in the draft, honestly, or at least it going towards me.
I think it came around, but I was too busy taking the Screeching Seahawks or whatever they're called.
Right, and I wasn't in blue at all, so even if it did come around, I didn't see it. I didn't see it get played against me. Honestly, I think it's too expensive.
That would be my analysis too. Like the initial cost is so high because they give you the ability to move it around, but I don't think that makes it worth it. I would rather.
There are other cards that can do the exact same kind of effect that are much more mana effective.
Yep, I agree. So next we have a powerhouse in Tragic Slip. It's 1 black instant. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Well, that sucks. But it has Morbid, so if another creature has died, target creature gets -13/-13 and is very dead until end of turn.
Very, very dead.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing can kill things with its -1/-1. It doesn't happen very often. Generally, every time I've seen it used that way, it's generally to affect combat math. Like, I tag you my 4/4. Okay, I block with my 4/4. Okay, your guy's a 3/3. You guys suck. Go away. Things like that. Or the other way is we trade 4/4 and I kill your other guy.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's removal. It's good.
This is a reprint.
This is a reprint. This was originally printed in Innistrad. I'm gonna say block. I think it was Innistrad, but it might have. I know it was in Innistrad block. Anyway, yes, very good. It's removal. Take it. It's conditional removal, so take it semi-early, but it's almost always going to be, you're going to find ways to trigger that 13/13 and just kill stuff.
A 1 black instant for neg1, not just damage. It's a permanent, or I guess it's until end of turn, but still. It can take care of your little guys, or, like you said, it takes care of that powerhouse.
Yep.
So,
yeah, take this in the green-black deck with Scourge Tribe Elders and stuff like that, where you're sacking your own guy.
Yeah.
You can sack your guy, ramp, and kill their whatever for 1 mana. It's good. Take it early. It's removal. Only thing better is bombs. So, next we have really great removal in Mortify. This is a pretty spicy pack here towards the end. It's our first uncommon. It's an instant for 1 white and a black, and it has destroy target creature or enchantment. So it's conditional removal, or it's not conditional. That's not the right word. It's multi-purpose removal, and it's non-conditional, so you don't have to not destroy target non-black creature, not destroy target non-artifact creature. Just if it's a creature, dead.
Or
3
enchantment.
mana or enchantment.
I mean, there's some pretty powerful enchantments out there that we definitely want to get rid of.
Absolutely.
And I know not everybody plays a ton of enchantment removal because they're more worried about creatures.
Absolutely.
Right? So having this be an either or creature or enchantment, that's a really strong combination.
This card is super powerful, especially in this, because you got to remember that there is no sideboarding. You could do sideboarding if you want, but for the most part, you're going to group up with 4 players out of your pod, play a game, and then you're just going to mix up the draft and have them play with another new 4 set of players, so it'll be the same deck again.
Yeah.
So the conditional removal that's sideboard tech gets a lot worse. Stuff like this gets even better because now you can have a main deckable removal spell that can hit some of that conditional removal stuff.
Yep.
Next we have Glimmer Point Stag. This guy's awesome. I first picked this before in the original set it came out in, which was Scars of Mirrodin. It is a 3/3 Vigilance for 2 white and 2 colorless, and it has when it enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent, and that returns to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So this has lots per. You can flicker your own thing for value,
right?
Which is done by a lot of people.
And there's a lot of things that
you can also flicker out their best blocker.
Yes. Yeah,
it's not you control, so it's exile another target permanent. It's gone until the beginning of the next end step.
Yeah, give you an open field to swing against.
Yep. This guy is played in a lot of the Blink constructed decks. This guy is definitely commander worthy. I see him played in Blink decks to blink my acidic slime and blow up another permanent, or blink, whatever. But it's a really powerful effect. It does a good job. Take it, you'll like it. That's good.
Yeah. Though the only caution I have is that when you're doing drafting, you're usually forced to do multicolor. The 2 white, it's not ideal.
Make sure you're in white. Don't try to, you can splash it, but
I would say do not take it if you're running 3 colors.
Yeah,
make it it's lower value.
That's probably fair.
So, but if you're running white green,
if you're in 2 colors, take it. If you've gone to 3. This card's probably not for you.
Yeah, you'll probably get mana screwed. So
next we have Flaring Flamekin. He's a elemental warrior. He's a 2/2 for 2 colorless and 1 red. And as long as it's enchanted, it gets +2/+2 trample and fire breathing, which is pay a red and it gets +1/+0 until end of turn.
Now this is another reprint.
It is another reprint
from Lorwyn block, I assume.
I believe so. Yeah.
Pretty sure Flamekin.
This might be a fresh print.
Oh, really?
In the theme, I'm not sure. I just don't remember it.
Okay,
but
we might have to look
it might be just a fresh print in the theme of the Lorwyn creatures.
Well, it definitely makes me think of them. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm not positive one way or the other. I didn't really take the time to look it up.
Elemental warrior.
Don't remember saying the as long as it's enchanted at all in that block. Doesn't mean it wasn't there. Anyway, this guy likes to be suited up. If you're playing the pants deck, which you shouldn't be because it's bad, but you put his pants on him and he turns into a beast because he comes with 4/4 trample with fire breathing plus whatever the pants give him. So
+2 trample. Trample can kill in draft. Yeah.
You can even cheat and use the stasis cell from earlier because it only stops him from untapping. So you can throw that on him to make him a 4/4, smack him, and then move it again. It's a lot of mana. It's completely unrealistic, but you can do it.
And who would draft red blue? I think one person drafted red blue.
Red blue's not bad. Anyway, don't take this early. If you end up in a deck with red and a few good enchant creature cards, take it. Otherwise, it's not.
Yeah, I do think you get your mana's worth though out of it for sure.
Sure.
The fact that it's only just a 3 cost.
Yeah, a 2/2 for 3 is not bad.
And then putting its pants on you, it gets even stronger. I think it's good. But like you said, probably not first pick.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't first pick it.
How nice.
So next we have Rhea Dawnbringer. That's our rare.
Our rare Rhea Dawnbringer. I'm sure everybody out there knows what Rhea does.
Yep.
But
so what she does is she's a 4/6 flyer, angel, legendary creature angel, for 6 colorless and 3 white. So she got 9 mana.
Yes.
But at the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Yes.
So she is not playable. Don't play her.
No.
Unless you're in the black-white or black-blue reanimation deck, or the black-white kind of Will of the Council with reanimation cards deck.
Or if you somehow manage to pull off a mono-white deck.
Yeah. Or if you're in mono-green with the Unexpected Potential Conspiracy, that definitely works. Like
that, we'll probably talk about that later, but that would be the only time you could. If you already had that card, I would say yes, grab her.
Yep.
She is very powerful, but she is very expensive. And in draft, having that much cost and that much required colored, it's just not ideal at all.
Yep. She's a bomb. If you're gonna take her, you either need to be finding a way to. You're gonna need to be in white, like heavy white, and ways to stall to get to that point. Or you need to be messing with the Unexpected Potential Conspiracy to try and get there.
Now, that being said, if people have not seen Rhea before, she is amazing and constructed. In Commander, especially, I think.
Yeah, that's I think her best.
She is. I think every Magic player out there has her somewhere in their collection.
Yeah, everybody has her in their heart. You know, she's like I traded stupid at one point when I was younger. I remember to get Ray Dawnbringer because I was like, you get to reanimate something every turn.
Every turn.
Upkeep. This is out of my graveyard. This is out of my graveyard. Every turn. So.
And the 4/6, she lasts long.
Yeah,
you know,
she's a bomb. Take her. She's first pickable, honestly. I would first pick her.
If you are drafting for keeping your own cards, now the way we drafted, we bought our own booster box and we got to keep all of the cards.
Right.
So we told people that when they were drafting, to draft for the deck, not for the card value, like some drafts will go.
Yeah.
When drafts come there where people only bring their 3 deck or their 3 packs, and then they get to keep what they pick, definitely first turn pick. If you're keeping that.
Nah, I wouldn't worry about keeping her. She's not worth a lot of money.
But her value in using in your decks, other decks.
She's a lot of fun. If you can get her into play, do it. She's best reanimated or if the game goes long. In draft, Conspiracy is kind of a mix of real play and Commander because you only have 20 life. But it is multiplayer, so people tend to live a little bit longer than they normally would. So turns are going to go a little longer.
Yeah, you're not being singled out every turn.
Right.
For the most
Ideally.
part.
Yeah. So.
You're either being ganged up on or not taking any damage at all. So.
My personal preference for playing her is to play her, if I were playing her, would be as a reanimation strategy, to reanimate her, or in mono green with Unexpected Potential.
Yes.
Right,
so conspiracy card.
So we got a conspiracy in this pack, and this could also have been one of those cardboard constructs I was talking about.
Yeah.
So our conspiracy for this pack is immediate action. It's one of the hidden agendas, which means you name something, and then you put it face down in the command zone. You can flip it up at any time and reveal what you named.
Now this is at the start of the game.
Yeah, the start of the game before
turn
turn
the start
1.
of your turn. It's before anybody plays anything. It goes in your command zone.
Yeah.
You're supposed to put the name on a piece of paper.
You have to pick it and identify it somehow. The best way, I think, was the way that Loading Ready Run did it with the little mini sticky Post-it notes.
Post-it notes, yeah.
You just put them on there and then put it face down. And
works well. What we did, since we didn't have any Post-it notes, was we texted people in the other group.
Yeah, that worked.
That way we just had no threat of cheating, really.
Yeah.
So even though we're all friends, we trust each other, so it wasn't a huge deal.
Oh.
But if you are playing like in maybe a store setting, where you're at a
you'll want some way to do it, and they probably will have Post-it notes,
scraps of paper,
something to identify it.
But you could just write it as on a note on your cell phone. So
yeah. So immediate action says hidden agenda, and then creatures you control with the chosen name have haste. So I had one of these in my Blue Flyers deck that is way too slow, but
yes.
With the Screeching Seahawks, I had 5 of them in the deck, and this was named, so they all had haste. I also had a few others, so they were like 4/4s, and concept was good, execution was bad.
The hidden agendas are great, especially in the draft, where you can have more than 4 of any card. So you get much more value for your money, I guess. Being able to take those 5 Screeching Seahawks and having them all have haste every time you play them, it's huge value. Now, when we're looking at Commander, it's hard to... These cards aren't for Commander. These cards are for draft only. So, we did have fun trying to play in Commander one time. We just picked 2 or 3 conspiracies each to add to the deck. And they sat in the command zone with her commander. We were just kind of testing them with the 1v1 to see if they had any value outside of draft formats. Right. If there was a way to play with them.
They don't. They have no value outside
They're
draft.
too powerful, we
Absolutely.
found out.
I don't know what the official decision by the Rules Council for Commander is. I guarantee you they are not going to be legal. Because the way the rules are written for this is you can have any number of them that you want. If they do become legal in Commander, it won't be that way. It'll be you can have one. And even then it'll be too overpowered because people will have the best one. They'll have, if they're playing...
they'll have a specific purpose for the conspiracy that they chose. Now, if I chose the haste one, I play a Kalia deck. My Kalia is throwing in a 6/6 flying dragon every first
Kalia having
turn.
haste without any commitment by you is just makes her way too good.
It's too strong.
And some of the others are the same way. The one that lets you fetch, that one's not good in Commander, but
the other one that helps with the 3-color commander was any color cost.
Yeah, the
unexpected potential allowed me to play Kalia with any color mana. So I had my Soul Ring, I had my 2 lands. Boom, she's on the board.
Yeah.
Second turn.
Her
third turn.
They exist only for while you're drafting. After that, they become mostly chaff.
Yeah.
Now, they do have another advantage that they can be used in Cube, which is still a draft format.
Yes.
So you can recycle them. But for the most part,
it's just for draft.
If you buy a bunch of boxes of this and are lucky enough to buy a bunch and then play it a whole bunch, you're going to end up with a lot of conspiracies to be thrown away.
Yes.
So.
I mean, sadly, how fun this deck or this set is, the replay values seems to be fairly low.
Yeah,
which is sad.
I think that's why they included so many Commander and constructed potential cards. That way, you draft it, you get your money cards or your constructed cards out of it. The rest goes away to chaff. You had your fun, but at least you get to keep the good stuff out of it.
Yeah.
So, all right, so that's our pack. Yep. What's your pick if we're playing Conspiracy?
If we were playing Conspiracy, I would probably
Pack one, pick one.
Pack one, pick one. It's a tough choice. I would probably go with the Mortify, to be honest.
Yeah, that was my pick as well.
Yeah. The Mortify card puts me in Orzhov.
Mm-hmm.
It's a super powerful card that I can see using at any point in the game. I don't have to hope they're playing a flyer, hope that I can get something out, or, have a response to anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's mana balanced. I don't think there's a better card.
It's just great removal. To me, it's either that or the Glimmer Point Stag, probably. 3/3 Vigilance for 4 mana that blinks something is nothing to scoff at. But the Mortify is just too good. And I'd actually take the Mortify, hope to wheel the Rhea, because she's so hard to play, and just try and be in the Black-White Will of the Council / Reanimation deck.
That would be
Victimized or something like that, and try and get there.
Sticking to Orzhov colors, I think, would be one of the few instances where you might be able to actually play Rhea as well.
Yeah.
If it happened to come back around to you and nobody had taken Rhea, which would probably be rare.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because sadly, I mean, most players that play casual with us, they look at that card and they're like, oh, it's amazing, I'm going to take it. And they don't weigh the fact that it's 9 mana.
Yeah,
and they're not going to be able to play it.
Rhea likes to kick you in the balls with her Timmy factor.
Right, she taunts you with her power.
So good. So yeah, I think I'd take the Mortify personally. So.
Yes, when removal is something that's actually really hard to come by in draft, you have to get lucky if you get any.
Right.
It's definitely worth grabbing as soon as you see it. So.
Yeah, I think I agree fully. So that's our Cracker Pack, and that's what our Cracker Packs will be like. We'll talk about where they can go if they're not for draft.
Yep.
And for the most part, we'll actually mostly, honestly, be talking about their application outside of draft.
Outside of draft,
This just
yes.
happens to be a draft-specific set with a lot of
Yeah.
the casual draft flavors. So
Yeah, honestly,
we talk about it more than we are normally going to.
yeah,
be
honestly,
honest
we
with you.
don't draft often because
No.
we're casual players. Going to drafts outside of our house is scary. No, honestly, it's just we have much more enjoyment making decks, I think,
Yeah.
and building our commanders or adding to our cube. And if we do draft, we usually use our cube to draft. So going and just buying a couple packs to draft is something we don't do often. But Conspiracy is made for drafting, so we had to buy a booster box and play with our friend, draft with our friends.
Yeah, I bought a booster box because it has a lot of sweet reprints that are expensive. I just wanted several of them actually for Commander, but there's no way I'm going to buy a booster box and not draft it. So I set up a
Right.
draft. In fact, I'm buying another booster box
Yes,
because there's
we
some
are.
more cards I still want. DAC is way too expensive to just buy. If I'm going to spend that much, I might as well just...
Well, that we had a blast drafting this
Yeah, and it was a
with
lot of
7
fun.
of our friends. Or 6 of our friends. So,
No,
because
7.
you and me.
Oh, yeah.
So, there was 8 of us.
6 other friends, right.
6 of our friends.
There were 8
and
of us total, yeah.
It was just a great couple of hours, in the evening that we did. And it was just good times all around. And I would highly, highly recommend getting this to draft. If you can't afford a booster box, 3 packs. Everybody pitches in to get it. It was nice for us to be able to buy a booster box, do the draft with our friends, and not have to worry about who gets what money card.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it made
absolutely.
it much more fun when the players could just focus on building a good deck rather than being like, oh, I need this card for my commander deck at home, so I'm going to take it, rather than trying to, have a chance at this draft.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're blessed enough to have the money to do it, and everybody wants commander cards, my suggestion is not to do a normal draft with it, and then everybody keeps the cards. My suggestion is to have everybody buy their own box and phantom draft it, and that person, whoever bought that box, keeps all those cards and do
Yes.
it with each different box.
Yes.
I think it works. It worked the best for us, definitely, because
Definitely.
some of the friends, though they would have been able to pay for it, others of them they didn't. They're broke.
Yeah.
So this way, no matter who they were or what your financial status was, they were able to come to our draft and do it.
Yeah.
It works best if you buy the box, get your friends together, you keep all the cards.
We even had for our 8th player, one of our friends' sons, who was just starting Magic, played.
Yeah.
He did great.
Yeah, he did do really good.
How old is he now? 12?
12, I think, yeah.
12.
He drafted a pretty sweet mono black.
He
deck
had
that
fun
worked-
too.
worked
So,
okay.
of course, when a 12-year-old comes to our games, they're automatically 16. So,
Right.
But no, we had an awesome time. Like I said, the only downside to this set is the replay value. A lot of the cards, they won't see any gameplay a second time.
it's like any other set.
So.
You have a lot of chaff in there that's just, it's draft fodder, and then after that it's done. But you have some that carries over. So, all right.
Yeah, I do recommend this for good times. So.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
it's definitely a lot of fun. So right now we're going to take a short break and catch our breath and move into our Commander's Authority section, where we're going to talk about the sweet reprints